All right, everyone, we have some prolonged salty tears flowing on this particular topic with Tucker Carlson and Twitter, with the fact that Tucker is now going to be broadcasting on that platform. Again, I would say to him, you should look into also using other video hosts and social media sites and create more of a network. Doing just Twitter, of course, limits your audience impact some. With each individual site that you're using, there's always going to be a core audience that uses that site more than others. So Twitter's core user base is many tens of millions of people, and he's got millions of people following him there. The engagement is higher if you multi-stream. So what I do, I stream on Twitter for what little it's worth, because right now I don't have the ability to actually interact with the live audience, because I don't have two screens, and there's only so much that can go on in one screen at once when I have to pay attention to my video feed and StreamYard and everything else, but I would, if I could, stream on, and I stream on 3 different sites: Twitter, the recent one added, and then Rumble and YouTube. I think that he should probably be doing that. Hell, you can afford the top-level StreamYard. You can stream on, I think 10 different sites at once. You've got the money to have that kind of a setup, etc., etc. Apparently, he's taking some of Fox's staff with him. Some of his former staff have decided to go with Tucker Carlson. I think they're making a good decision for their careers, by the way. Now, the leftists are pissed. So what does Salon do? And I have seen multiple hot takes like this, and it's the funniest thing ever because it's total cope. Salon is a fraction of the size that Twitter would be even if it were to collapse. Is worth basically nothing and probably will follow along with BuzzFeed and some of the others in going bankrupt at some point. In fact, didn't Salon downsize last year? Didn't they already approach bankruptcy and get bought off? I think they did. I can't remember. I mean, it happens to so many missing link media leftoid sites that I lose track of which ones have had that problem. I know BuzzFeed's one of the more recent ones, and Vice, but I think Salon was on the list too. I know that they downsized at the very least. There's the link in the description, archived, of course. They're like, well, this is going to hasten Twitter's demise, the ignominious downfall of Twitter. I'll read a little verbatim really quick. Tucker Carlson's takeover and the dramatic decline of Twitter. Tucker Carlson, being a marquee attraction, can only hasten Twitter's descent. Yes, I guess the idea is that Twitter's dying. The problem is you've been predicting that now for months. Since before Musk even took over. Hell, there were stories even back when Twitter was run by people who were on the left, by people like Agrawal that were namby-pambying with groups like Salon. They would allow leftoid defamation. They would allow heinous content as long as it was coming from somebody that they gave artificial priority. This is what their verification system, the blue check mark, used to be for several years. Originally, in the Dorsey era, in the prototypical Twitter era, it meant that there was a reason for it. You're a notable individual. You can establish it. Hey, look, I run this website that's got $100 billion in yearly sales. Well, I need to be able to protect my brand. Can you verify that it's actually me? Then, under the Agrawal era, so the Dorsey era ends, then verification on Twitter became about basically Twitter decides that you deserve extra clout. They were giving it out like candy to people who had the right political views, and they bragged about the fact that the switch was made. Now it's about, hey, you paid $8 a month. That's what it means. And so you get Twitter Blue, you get certain functions on the site that other users don't have, which means Twitter makes a bit of extra money, and the leftoids lost their blue check marks and threw a big stink about it and keep trying to impotently protest. Let me say this. The reason why Twitter's not going to die is because there is no mainline competitor for Twitter. It's not like with YouTube, for example. YouTube has multiple mainline competitors. Stream and TikTok and Rumble for streaming. Rumble, BitChute, TikTok, etc., and others for shorts and standalones. There are a plethora of different sites with large user bases that host videos. Twitter is branching out into trying to become an everything app. Elon has talked about this. It's part of his strategy. So I suspect they'll bring back Vine, which would kill TikTok, by the way, and YouTube Shorts. And hopefully that would get YouTube to get rid of the Shorts bullshit and go back to its old algorithm, favoring people who either stream or make informative long standalone content, which is much more entertaining and much better than 10 seconds of a person drawing with lipstick on the mirror or twerking or something. It's kind of pointless when you think about it. You can't really do educational content in short form. I think that there's a reason why they don't want educational content on the internet, though, given the politicians and legacy media in Silicon Valley are trying to turn everyone into slaves, it makes sense to make them low information, low attention span, and overall just fucking dumb. And the leftists think that Tucker Carlson bringing multi-millions of people aboard Twitter as part of a core audience is bad for Twitter. I disagree. I think the opposite is true. I think that Twitter is going to absorb a chunk of Fox News's user base. People who maybe before, maybe they might have a Twitter or something, but they don't spend as much time on it. All of a sudden they're like, oh, I'll still be able to watch Tucker. Hey, that's the only reason I was paying attention to Fox in the first place. I've heard that from many people. No, I don't watch Fox. I only tune in for Tucker. It's the only slot there that I care about and pay attention to. Well, I mean, I can understand, although I didn't pay attention to his slot generally either, because I prefer not to watch TV news. It's still legacy media. But yeah, he's still going to be doing his broadcast. He's got the goddamn numbers and apparently the staff and the money to make it a spit-shined product. It's not going to be like some cheap-ass show. It's not going to be like Bill O'Reilly in his basement with his podcast or something. It's going to be, I think, more refined than that. And we'll see what happens. But when Salon and these other... Oh, the other one. The other really big cope. The Occupy Dems. Did you see what they posted the other day? Well, Tucker Carlson received some terrible news. Its Tribble Social has this, a main Twitter competitor with its 10 people in the user base, has preemptively banned Tucker Carlson because Fox News man bad and hate speech and all this stuff. Yeah, I'm sure that he would have branched out onto your social network. I'm sure that he would have been welcome there, number one, and number two, he would actually deign to use a site that has, probably less active users than just my YouTube uploads. There's no way that Tribble has as much interaction as I do as a single person cross-platform. So putting that into perspective, Tucker, I don't think, gives a fucking shit about you. He'd be more likely to go over to Mastodon if it weren't allegedly filled up with illicit material. Again, I've never used it, never will. Too busy using Twitter. Seems to work for me. 130 fucking thousand people following the account. That's pretty good metrics. And it's actually growing, unlike other legacy networks that are constantly trying to keep a hippie down. That's about all. Peace out.